I hadn't thought about that playground in years. It came back to me all at once. The rusted swings, the faded slide, the patch of dirt behind the climbing frame where grass never grew. We used to spend every afternoon there. Me, Susie, Josh, and Aaron. There were four of us. At least that's how I remember it. Aaron was the quiet one. He didn't go to our school, didn't talk much about where he lived. He just showed up, always waiting near the edge of the playground by the trees. He never liked the equipment. We didn't mind. We made up games. Hide and seek, mostly. That day it was Aaron's turn to hide. "Count to 30, he said, so we did. 1, 2, 3. I could still hear our voices echoing across the empty park. When we reached 30, we split up like always. Susie checked behind the slide. Josh ran toward the swings. I went to the trees. That's where Aaron always hid. The shade felt colder than I remembered. Darker, somehow. I called out his name, expecting him to jump out and scare me like he always did, but he didn't. Instead, I saw something else. A gap between the trees. It looked wrong. Like the space didn't belong. Too dark, too still, like looking into a place that wasn't meant to be seen. And then I heard his voice from inside it. Found me. Then something shifted inside the darkness. Not a person stepping forward, more like the darkness itself. Adjusting. I saw a shape begin to form. It bent unnaturally as it moved, like it was trying to remember how a body worked. "Aaron?" I whispered. The shape twitched. "You found me before I was ready." My chest tightened. My legs wouldn't move. I took a step closer. I stumbled back, finally breaking whatever held me there, and ran. Susie and Josh were just standing there watching me. They weren't looking for Aaron. "Did you find him?" I asked, breathless. Susie frowned. "Find who?" My heart skipped. "Aaron," I said. "He was hiding." Josh shook his head slowly. "There's no one else here." I was confused. I turned back toward the trees. The gap was gone. Just a solid line of trunks and shadows like it had always been. No darkness, no Aaron, no reports, no search. Because to everyone else, nothing had happened. And the worst part? I don't remember meeting Aaron. No first day, no introduction. It's like one day he was just there, waiting. Like he'd always been part of us. And somehow, I was the only one who noticed when it stopped pretending. He was only gone for an hour. That's what I keep telling myself. Just an hour at the playground down the street, the same one he's been going to since he could walk. I watched him leave from the window, turning once to wave before disappearing around the corner. Everything was normal until he came back. The door opened quietly. No usual "I'm home." No rushed footsteps, no breathless stories about what they played. Just silence. I found him standing in the hallway, still, shoes on. "Hey," I said, forcing a smile. "Have fun?" He nodded. Too quickly. Something about it felt wrong. "Who are you playing with?" I asked. "A friend?" He said. His voice sounded flatter, like he was repeating something he'd practiced. I crouched down to his level. "Which friend?" He hesitated, then smiled. Not his normal grin. This one was slow, stretching just a little too wide. "You don't know him," he said. A chill ran through me. "All right," I said, standing up. "Go wash your hands. Dinner soon." He didn't move, just kept staring at me. "Go on," I said again, a bit sharper. This time he turned and walked toward the bathroom, His steps were off, too even, too careful, like he was thinking about each one. That night he barely ate, just sat there holding his fork, eyes drifting to the window every few seconds. "Did something happen?" I asked. He shook his head, but then he said quietly, "He wants to come over." My grip tightened on my glass. "Who?" "My friend?" I forced a laugh. "Maybe another day." He didn't respond, or just kept staring at the window. Later, after I tucked him into bed, I stood in the hallway listening. No movement, no sound, just the soft hum of the house settling. I don't know why I checked the backyard. Maybe instinct, maybe something deeper. But when I pulled the curtain aside, I saw a child standing at the edge of the yard, perfectly still, watching the house, watching my son's room window. I froze. Slowly, I turned back toward the hallway, toward my son's room. The door was open. The bed was empty. Behind me, through the glass, I heard a soft knock, and a voice, my son's voice, from outside. "Can I come in now?" The memory didn't come back all at once. It started as a feeling. I was stopping at a red light when I saw a kid on the corner, counting against a pole, playing hide and seek. Something about it made my chest tighten. By the time the light turned green, my hands were shaking. That's when I remembered the playground. I hadn't thought about it in years. It should have felt nostalgic. Instead, it made my stomach turn. I drove over to the playground without thinking, sat there staring at it, and something came back. Not all at once, just pieces. We were kids. Me, Dan, and Mark. We used to play there every day after school. That day started the same. No one else around. Dan suggested we play hide and seek. I remember that clearly. I was counting. 18, 19, 20. When I turned around, everything felt off. Too quiet. No footsteps. Nothing. I called out for them. No answer. I checked behind the swings, under the slide. Nothing. Then I heard a low, muffled cry from behind the playground. I followed it. There was a shed back there with its door slightly ajar. The sound was coming from inside. I pushed it open. And that's where my memory used to stop. For years. Because every time I tried to remember, I'd see my mother's face instead, telling me I imagined it. "You had a bad dream," she'd say. But that's not what happened. I know that now. Standing there, staring at that same shed, something finally broke through. The smell came back first, metallic, then the sound, gagging, choking. I remember stepping inside, calling Dan's name. And then I saw him, tied to a chair, blood on his shirt, eyes wide, pleading. Mark was on the floor, not moving, and there was someone else in the room. I never saw their face, just their hands. Red, bloody. I remember backing away slowly, trying not to make a sound. But the door creaked. The person in the room turned. That's when everything goes blank again. The next thing I remember, I was at home. My mother sitting across from me, gripping my shoulders too tightly. "You didn't see anything," she kept saying. "You came home. The boys went home. Do you understand?" I nodded, because I was a kid and she sounded scared. The next day, the playground was closed for maintenance. Dan and Mark were gone. Moved away, they said. No one questioned it except me. And even I stopped. Until now. As I stood there, staring at that shed, I noticed a new lock on the door, and from inside, I heard something move.